Hey guys, it's Sam from Minimal Desk Setups. Today we'll be talking about our Pomodoro Timer with the new upgraded firmware. So the new Pomodoro Timer is version 1.1 and it'll say that on the box. The new timer still looks like this, but it's just that the inside firmware has been updated to include the auto start for the Pomodoro mode and a few other extras that I'll explain in this video. So your Pomodoro Timer will look like this when you first boot it up. In order to get the Pomodoro function to work, firstly, you got to set the focus time. So you press T1 over here. And for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to just set a focus time of 5 seconds and then set the rest time by hitting T2. In T2, I'll also set 5 seconds. Now to activate Pomodoro mode, all you got to do is hold the knob, press the knob in and hold for a second. And you can see here how it'll have T1 and T2 both light up. And then you just tap again to start. And then you'll run it itself. And once it finishes T1, it'll ring for 2 seconds and then start T2 automatically. So this is a much anticipated function that everyone has been wanting. And then T2 will ring for 5 seconds and then go back to T1. And it will just go like that over and over and over again. Whilst you might notice that in this mode, you can't actually change the time while it's running. So you do have to stop, right? And hold to exit Pomodoro mode. So you'll see that both the T1, T2 will stop being lit up together. And then from there, you can do whatever you want with any of the timers. So T1, T2, yeah. So maybe right now I'll run through some of the other functions that have kind of changed from our first version or some functions that are completely new. So right now, when you hit the start on just any individual timer, so in this case, I'm just starting T1. I can concurrently start T2 too, if any of you guys actually want to use two timers to track two different things at once. T1 before, I set it for 20 minutes, right? I can pause it here and then hit the reset button here and it will go back to 20 minutes. So whatever time that you've actually set it as, which is an upgrade from a last timer. And to actually clear it, all you have to do is hold down the reset button on the timer and it'll clear to 0. And that's how you kind of clear our time from now on. Our timer also has a count up function, which is pretty useful to keep track of how long a task has taken. So to activate the count up function, all you gotta do is get the timer to boot up and then go to any timer and make sure it's on 0, 0, and then just hit the start button. And then it will start counting up, just like that, right? So one of the use cases for this is you can use the top timer here to track how long a task has taken, and then the bottom timer to count it down for your Pomodoro. So here you can go in timer 2 and then set that to, let's just do 25 minutes. And then you can then concurrently have one counting up to see how long you've taken and the bottom one to just track Pomodoros here for rest time and actually focus time. So that's one of the use cases for it. So I just kind of want to give a demonstration on how we use the task and time cards with the Pomodoro timer here. I've already set up the task and time card here. So on the left side, I write all my tasks. And on the right side here, I time block all the blocks that I want to work in today and maybe some extra if I can fit it in. But these are my set focus blocks that I know for sure that I'm going to try to do as much work in as possible. With the first task here, I set up my Pomodoro timer to do 25-5, right? And I'll just set it to go, right? And it goes, just imagine I finish one block, right? And when I finish a block, I come over to my task over here and I just mark it with a P and a circle, right? And you know, I go along and I do a couple of blocks and I end up with 3 Ps. So it's taken me 3 blocks of Pomodoros to complete this first task. So I've completed it here. And because I know that the Pomodoro blocks are 25 and 5, essentially 30 minutes, I can then come back to my time grid here and mark down how long it's taken me to do that specific task. So for task 1, it's taken me an hour and a half. So now I mark it down like this. And then that actually helps me keep track of how long it's taken to do the task, as well as how long and how effectively I actually focused for with the Pomodoro timer. So that's just the effective way to use our task and time cards with the Pomodoro timer. And I just wanted to show that to everyone. And now to talk about some of the other settings buttons, right? So we only have 2 settings buttons. One's for sound and one's for brightness. So in sound, there are 3 different sound modes. So there's mute, you can see here, loud, and medium, and that's really it. And for the brightness, there's only high and low. So right now it's on high, and then that's what low would look like. So if you're on a high setting and it looks like it's low, it's highly likely that your battery is actually running low. And that's really all the features that we have on this Pomodoro timer. We've kind of just updated the firmware and made things run a bit better for battery efficiency's sake. Thank you all for watching this video.